Hello, I'm Skip Yolberg, Chief Executive Officer of Grant Memorial Hospital.
We are excited to serve you with our newly renovated private inpatient rooms, comprehensive rehabilitation services, state-of-the-art imaging suite including 3D mammography, the only mother-infant care center in the Potomac Highland region, specialized clinics such as orthopedics and general surgery, and now our new infusion and cancer center in partnership with WVU Cancer Institute. To all our friends, thank you for choosing Grant Memorial Hospital.
Welcome once again to Explore Grant County and our election coverage. I am excited to have my next guest here with me, Matt Allanson, or do I have to do hubcap so everyone knows who I'm actually talking to?
Either one, JR. I mean, I answer to both of them. So.
Okay. But thank you for taking some time with us today. You're running for Board of Education, correct?
I am.
And what district is that? Because I know there's 3 districts.
There's 3 districts. I'm running in the Milroy district for Grant County.
Okay. So what is the number one position that you're kind of running on? What's something that you believe is going to be the focal point of your campaign for the Board of Education?
Well, JR, I like... me personally is safety. The children's safety is a big thing for me. That's a big concern. Of course, it's everywhere nowadays. That, and I want to see the success of the students in Grant County. I want to see it grow and prosper. Because when people look back and they say, hey, he graduated from Petersburg, or she graduated from Union. And puts a little pride back in the community.
Okay. What do you think? What is one policy or one thing that you would change from the previous Board of Education administration?
Not sure of which one you change. I mean, there may be a little bit of good in all of them where you can look at them and work and build on those to make them better. But as far as going in and say, okay, hey, we definitely need to change this, a lot of it, could be mandated by the state, that we have no control over, and, you deal with what you can deal with on the local level to improve it, to help the success of the students, whether it be, through their education or, whatever.
So with that, and some things, you're absolutely correct on that. There are some policies that come from the West Virginia State Board of Education that you're stuck with,
right? And you'll get people out there who'll say, I don't want my kid doing this, and they can't do that there, And really, the local board has no control over it because, it comes from the West Virginia State Board, or, the federal, and it's just
and just what their guidelines or laws are.
Here it is. It's set in stone. This is what you will follow,
What is something, looking at the Grant County schools, though, what do you think is one of the biggest problems that may be facing Grant County schools today? Well,
you look at the test scores and stuff, JR. I think, and even I could tell when my son came through, I just think we're lacking a little bit behind in the math and in the reading comprehension. And, I'm not really sure why, because I haven't been in depth with that, but it could be as simple as, getting the resources that the teachers need. Something that, they need, and like you say, the way they teach it, because he would come home from school and we'd sit down and we would do lattice multiplication. And I'm like, what? Didn't know what it was, and he's sitting there trying to teach me. And I'm like, well, let's do it like this here. And he's like, well, Dad, I can't do that there because I've got to show my work, and different learning styles, and, what was it brought forth? Maybe that was something that was, brought forth from the state and say, this is how you're going to teach math. I learned at a young age, you learned your multiplication tables, and, once you memorize them and, that helped you with your division and everything else, down the line. And, it just, to me, it was a lot simpler, than some of the ways they try to teach it, but I have no say over that.
That right now. Right. So, the levy that was passed, one of the earmarks in the levy was that all the Grant County citizens get into free games, get into the games for free. Do you think that was a good idea, a good use of the money? Could it have been used somewhere else? Or what are kind of your thoughts on the levy money being used for free games?
Well, personally, me, I don't like it. You know, but and here's why. You know, okay, it's all inclusive. Any person in Grant County can get into games free, and that's true. And it does help the people that have the larger families. I will not disagree with that. But you know, you have people out here, the elderly, you know, that is never going to come to a game. You know, and part of their levy tax money is being used to pay for free ball games that, you know, they may not have watched in 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, so to me, you know, I don't like that. You know, I know when my son was in school, you know, I would help run the clock and stuff, and I still do. You know, and they would give you a free pass or something, you know, to a ball game or to a sporting event or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so, and now, you know, I don't know if they have to pay the people that takes the tickets, or, you know, I don't know. I haven't asked that question. But to me, I mean, I just think if the person's going to go to the game, they're going to go to the game regardless if they got to pay or not.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I just done the Petersburg-Frankfurt game on the radio last night down in Moorfield. You know, Petersburg fans packed the house, and every one of them paid.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're gonna go, you're gonna pay regardless. You know, is my opinion. But I just think it could have been moved somewhere else, maybe, and, you know, used towards safety. You know, used towards something for the kids. You know, to help them. I mean,
Speaking of that game, that was the girls' game, correct?
Yeah,
and they won.
Yes, they did a
double overtime.
Double overtime. It was
Congrats, Lady Vikings.
Yeah, great game.
Yeah.
You know, really well played by both teams. You know, I'll say that. You know, they done well.
Yeah. As of yesterday, there is no more mask mandate in Grant County schools. So by the time this airs, that's why I have to say as of yesterday.
Right.
Now there is no more mandates. But do you think or do you worry that we're going to have to put a mask mandate back in place again, say next winter when the next variant comes along? Are you for the mask mandates if we would have to?
Well, JR, and I wear a mask at work, you know, up until, you know, last week. You know, we were able to take the mask off, you know, and, you know, now they're saying that the cloth masks don't work. You know, they're saying N95s.
N95
you know, or the surgical mask.
Correct.
You know, so, you know, who knows? You know, they said the shot worked. The shot didn't, you know. I had both shots in the booster and still got COVID. You know, so, you know, thankful I just had, you know, the sinus part of it, and that was it, you know. But I'm not a big fan of the mask. You know, I think if people want to wear them, I think it's their choice. You know, if it makes them feel comfortable having a mask on, you know, by all means, wear the mask. You know,
and the reason I asked that is because, and I was talking to Superintendent Mitch Webster the other day, and one of the concerns was that kids, especially the younger kids, learn to read and do letters and things like that by seeing their mouth.
Right, right.
And that kind of worries me that the masks have put us behind even further than when we've had to do the virtual and things like that.
Right.
Because we were in the height of COVID.
Yeah, because there's no better learning than when your kids are in school, you know, and not doing the virtual or, you know, whatever. But just like you said, the young kids, you know, they, you know, I think you said like when you see their mouth, you know, it's almost like it's a kind of like a lip recognition thing or something.
Especially if you're sounding out sounds
right.
and trying to show them how
trying to show
sound.
how to do the S sound or, you know, something like, yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a tough one, and it is a hot button issue, and we can't shy away from it because everyone always says, oh, something like this never comes to this area. You know, we always hear that. Oh, we're in a rural community. We don't have to worry about that here until it's here.
Right.
So I like to ask the question because Virginia actually was a blue state and actually went red over the last election because of this one topic, I would say, if not the one topic.
Yeah,
It
was a very
one of the
hot
most,
topic
yes.
in Virginia.
And that was the what happened, sadly, to the young lady, a young man who said he was a girl.
incident down in Loudoun County.
In Loudoun County, he went into the ladies' restroom because that's legally allowed,
Yeah.
and proceeded to rape a young lady. So I'm not here to debate the law. The law is the law on that. My question is, how do we protect our young ladies from something like this happening here in our county?
Well, JR, I think, like you said, it is the law. I don't agree with it. I'm a Christian and identify as two genders, male and female. They can identify with whatever they want, and we have, you have to provide for them. The law says that, and to me, they're not going into the dressing room with the girls. They're not going into the bathroom with the girls. We can make a private place for them to use the bathroom, make a private place for them to change.
Do you think the schools, because now you're talking multiple schools here throughout the county, do you think the schools can afford that cost? Is that something that's just like, hey, to me, when it comes to protecting the kids,
right,
cost isn't, you don't worry about. But
right.
Let's be honest, most people look at the bottom line and are like, oh, you mean we have to put in a special bathroom for every school that's in our county?
Sure.
How do we, help, or what's the word I'm looking for? How do we determine what is best financially, but also what is safest?
Right. Well, the number one thing, I'm going to keep the kids safe. I'm not putting a guy in a girl's locker room, nor a girl in a guy's locker room. I mean, as far as, one into, you put one guy into a girl with 20 girls, or one guy with 20 girls, it's no good. I mean, nothing good can come out of that there. I mean, you can find a place, and I think there was a couple years ago, maybe there was that need in Petersburg High School.
Yes.
And they made, the arrangements for the person to, and I reckon satisfied the I reckon
all parties involved.
Right.
Okay. Another big topic that has happened over really the past month or two is the question of bullying in schools. Mitch Webster brought the rules on what is bullying and what their bullying policy is. I looked up, and the state does not have a set law about bullying. It just says each county must have a bullying policy. So we have our bullying policy, and I'm probably going to post it some point in time so everyone kind of knows what the bullying policy is. But how do we combat that? It just, like, a policy can seem so cold and empty at times. What's a way that we can actually combat bullying in schools?
Well, number one, I think if you see something, you have to say something, and I don't care who it is. If it's not the person involved, I don't care if it's somebody comes by and sees it, say something, because that kid, may not want to stand up for themselves, because of fear, and, or whatever. But, there's no place for bullying in the schools at any level, but I think one of the things, when you define bullying, I would like to see what the definition is on bullying.
Yes,
because, somebody may pick on somebody,
and so I asked
like a
Mitch
joking
Webster,
matter.
Yes, and I asked Mitch Webster this question, and I said, hey, I'm going to just throw out a hypothetical, and you tell me if it's bullying or not. And so I looked at him, and I said, you're fat and you can't play sports. I said, is that bullying? And he says, under our policy, that's not bullying. So a lot of people might say that is bullying, but under the Petersburg High School policy, or Grant County Schools policy, that is not bullying. Bullying is more of a targeted daily occurrence with a group of friends that makes people not want to come to school. And then we did bring up, well, what happens if I internalize it and keep coming to school, but it's still, maybe I'm suicidal on the inside and no one knows because I haven't said it, and I'm
Right,
still
because
showing
you
up in
haven't
school.
reached out. You know.
So that's my whole question behind that is like, how do we stop that from coming? Because to me, all life is precious.
Absolutely.
And if while I do still believe I tend to be a little old school too, where I say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. Some people are sensitive.
Right.
So how do we determine between the sensitive people and the people that might be a little stronger that might still be bullied but put up with it?
Yeah, and you know, JR, hopefully, you know, that the teachers or somebody that's around these kids daily, you know, they may see a little bit of difference, you know, and hopefully that they will speak out to the child or the student, you know, and see if they can get something out of them, you know, somebody that kid may trust, you know, whether it be that teacher, you know, I mean, it could be somebody, it could be the lunch lady that, you know, is always nice to them, you know,
Yeah.
Who knows, you know, but I mean, I don't like bullying in any manner. And like you said, you know, you have people that, you know, it'll shed off their back like, you know, water like a duck's back, you know, but I just think there's no room for it. And I think it does need addressed, you know, especially, you know, if it's repetitive, you know, and it comes to where, you know, it needs addressed, you know. I think there should be swift action on it, number one. And, you know, I think it should be set for everybody, you know. Doesn't matter, you know, okay, if Sally here, you know, she done it, but, you know, she's straight A's and, you know, we want to help her, you know. You know, if she done it, you know, it's no worse than if Joe over here done
Bullying's
it.
bullying
at any level.
Yeah. And one of the last questions that was another, you know, in all the Board of Education meetings, it was hotly debated and contested, and that is the CIS program, Communities in School. What are your thoughts on that? Is that something that needs to be in the school? Do you know enough about it to kind of make a decision? Is that something that you might look at if you're elected? You have some people that are saying it's the world's greatest program. You have some people that are saying, hey, this program is just the most awful thing to come along based on its ties to CRT and DEI.
Right.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I don't know, you know, a whole lot about it to be, you know, real informative about it. I have done a little bit of research on it, you know, of, you know, where some of the money's coming from that is given to the federal government, you know, to fund these programs and stuff. And, you know, to me, we're all inclusive. You know, I don't care what race we are. You know, we all come from different backgrounds. You know, I live down in the field area, you know, and a lot of people are like, oh, you know, you don't want to go to the field. You know, I've lived there for 49 years, you know, and I think I've done okay, you know. But to me, everybody's the same. You know, I'm no different than somebody that may live on the point, you know. And like you say, every life's precious. It doesn't matter how old you are, you know, or how young, but, you know, we need to take care of our young kids, you know, in schools. We need to make them safe. We need to teach them a good education so they can go out into the world. I've got a son that's 20 years old, and he's a sophomore at Shepherd College studying in history and minoring in secondary education, wants to become a teacher. I said, Bailey, why you want to be a teacher? He said, I want to help the young kids. He said, I enjoy it. You know, he said, in the history, he loves history, you know, so, you know, congrats to him, you know, and he's doing well.
Good. Final and the toughest question of all. Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
Okay. Why should we vote for Hubcap? Matt Allanson. Why? It's your final chance to, you know, make your plea to people and let them know why choose you?
Well, you know, a lot of people tell me, JR, oh, you're getting into politics. No, I'm not getting into politics. I'm trying to get into the school system to help the kids, you know, and I don't care whose kid it is. I think every kid deserves the same shot, you know, the same break, you know, whatever. I think we all should be treated the same, and I'm there for the kids. You know, I've volunteered in Little League Baseball over the years as a coach and umpire. You know, I've ran the clock at basketball games. I've announced the junior high football games because I want to be involved with the young kids. I like to see their success. You know, you'll read in the newspaper, you know, okay, so and so, you know, they're got a big job promotion here, whatever, and I'm like, good for them. Yeah. You know, they're from Grant County. You know, and it doesn't matter, you know, if you come from Maysville Elementary, Petersburg Elementary, Union Educational Complex, or Petersburg High School. We're all the same. I think we all deserve equal rights. And I'm there. I want to stand up for the kids.
Okay. Matt, thank you very much for today, and we appreciate it. Remember, voting is May 10th. Go out, make an informed decision. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in to our election coverage here on Explore Grant County. Have a great day.
Hello, I'm Skip Yolberg, Chief Executive Officer of Grant Memorial Hospital.
We are excited to serve you with our newly renovated private inpatient rooms, comprehensive rehabilitation services, state-of-the-art imaging suite including 3D mammography, the only mother-infant care center in the Potomac Highland region, specialized clinics such as orthopedics and general surgery, and now our new infusion and cancer center in partnership with WVU Cancer Institute. To all our friends, thank you for choosing Grant Memorial Hospital.